Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 10th, wow, June 10th already, meeting of the Conservation Commission, Pelham, New Hampshire. I'd like to rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, why don't we get started?
I gotta do roll.
Could you do, Karen, could you do the roll call? Attendance?
Alex LeBrecq. Here. Jesse Vaughn.
Here.
Paul Gagnon.
Here.
Ken Stanvick.
Here.
Carla Humphreys.
Here.
Don Pequin.
Here.
Michelle Cook.
Here.
Karen McKay here. Absent, Mike Gendro. Paul Dadiak.
Great, thank
So you
you.
have to appoint one person for
So,
Paul.
who do you think we should appoint, Karen? Or,
Well, Alex is gonna talk about our thing today.
they want to do Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, I'd like to appoint you as a voting member tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Got you.
Okay, you want to talk about the minutes? Review the minutes?
Oh, yeah, I guess the minutes of, I think it was 5/8. Let me just take a quick peek back to make sure that it was.
Well, Karen, soon, does anybody have any items to add, or delete, or change?
Nope.
Oh, it was 5/13. Okay, I'm glad I didn't just go with
Anybody
5/8.
want to make a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I'll make a motion
5:13.
to accept the 5:13 minutes as written.
Anybody want to second the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Dawn second.
Okay,
Jesse's made the motion.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or? No? Anybody opposed?
Anybody
No?
opposed?
Okay, 7-0-0. Okay. Minutes are done.
Okay, we have 3 items on the agenda tonight. We have public hearings in accordance with RSA 36-A. We have one for map 42, lots 10-243, 10-240. One for map 41, lot 10-22, to be presented by Paul Gagnon.
Just the correction, you said 10-22, it's 10-244.
244, excuse me.
You need to do the map 42 one first, Paul, because that's the 7 o'clock public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we have an opportunity tonight to protect 3 parcels of land that are all contiguous and abut some land that already has a conservation easement on it. So I think collectively, they make a nice piece of property to protect. I'm going to talk first about 2 parcels which together add up to almost 40 acres. A little over half of it is being used for agriculture right now, for farming. It's owned by the Shaw Farm. So let me start. I want to see where they would like me to put the picture. Looks like I got it. So let me get something to point with. So I would like to orient people. This, see if I can see my own map. This is Bridge Street here. This is the Wolven Conservation Area, for those who are familiar with that. This is Courier Road. This is Jericho Road, which comes around like this. We're talking about these 2 parcels, and this is the Massachusetts border, right here. This is an easement that's been placed on the Dunlop property for years. Karen often does site walks to monitor that easement. So this parcel and this parcel are both owned by Shaw Farms. This parcel comes into Massachusetts quite a distance, like this, and comes up to Marsh Hill Road. Those of you familiar with Marsh Hill Road, if you go down Bridge Street, you can take Marsh Hill Road, it comes in this way. And the Shaw home is here, and they farm this entire parcel, or the vast majority of this parcel. There's a small amount of this parcel, and I'll show you blow-ups of these as we go. Small amount of this parcel that is also farmed. And when I say farm, they basically cut hay for their cows. Those of you familiar with the Shaw Farm, they've got a little farm store in Drake, and they've got quite a few head of cattle, of milk cows. So let me go to a more blown-up picture. Again, for orientation, this is Jericho Road coming in here, and this is the Massachusetts border. There's the Dunlop easement. We took a number of pictures. Karen and I went on a site walk recently. We took a number of pictures, so I'd like to give you a feel for the property because I think it's really quite beautiful. First picture was taken right from the Massachusetts line, and we know we're at the Massachusetts line because, if I go back to this picture, right here where Massachusetts takes a dramatic turn, there is a big granite monument, and it is in the middle of a field because this property is also hayed. So there's a big granite monument there. We came down through this property. You could look right across and clearly see that monument. So you just had to estimate east-west. So we had a pretty good idea that we were right about on the Mass border looking north. Now, here's the view of that farm field. I know it's hard to see, but actually here is the farm on Courier Road, right at the top of Courier Road. I think it's owned by Shepherd family. So to give you a sense of what you're looking at, you're looking right across Jericho Road. In fact, I'll go back to my first picture. Here we are, and what we're looking is we're looking right across all this, right up to this farm. So it's quite a beautiful view, and all these wetlands in here are in between. So that's our first picture. We go down the field a little ways, and picture number 2 is looking at this corner. You're going to see this home in the picture. A little tricky to see, but if you look right here, there's actually that white with the brown roof is actually a house. And so that tree line, this tree line here, is actually the corner of the property right there. We went further down the hill, took picture 3, which is where the stock ponds, these were man-made ponds many, many years ago to hold water for the cattle. So there's a pond here and a pond here. What you're seeing over here are the houses that are off of Jericho. Picture 4 is a look at the pond to the right. As you can see, it's beautiful, beautiful wilderness. They obviously mow close, but not right up to the pond. They leave a nice buffer. They also don't use any fertilizers other than natural cow manure on this field to avoid having too much fertilizer in the pond. The next picture is looking at the pond to the left. And again, this area back here is all part of the land which we hope to protect. And just for fun, picture of a pair of Canadian geese with 5 little goslings that were in that pond. Was quite a beautiful sight. All right, so now the question is, how much do you pay for this? And if I didn't say it, I think I did, but I might not have. We're talking about a conservation easement here. We're not talking about outright purchase. So as I know you on the board know this, but for anybody watching, a conservation easement means that the town would own the development rights, but would not own the land. The farmer continues to own the land, and the farmer can continue to do agricultural work on the land, but it can never be turned into a subdivision. It can never be sold for development. And I'll go into a little bit of that language without getting too buried in the details. So, okay, a conservation easement. So conservation easements, the truth is, the majority of the value of a piece of property is in its development rights. So when you buy the development rights, you have to pay the vast majority of the value of the property. Because let's face it, what is a field worth if you can never develop it? To a farmer, it might be worth a lot. There aren't a lot of farmers around who are looking to buy fields and pay a lot of money for them. Same goes with a woodlot. yeah, you can get a little bit of wood for it, but a wood lot is not worth a lot of money. It's worth a lot if it can be developed. So what we did is we looked at each parcel. Here's the biggest one, which is 26 acres. Make sure I got that right. Yes, 26 acres. I estimated about 7.5 acres of it are wet. So we're going to have two prices here. One is for the wetlands, which we agreed to 2,000 an acre for wetlands. The easement price for the uplands is 7,150 per acre. That's the same number we paid the Steck family for the conservation easement on the 240-acre Steck farm. So we didn't reinvent the wheel here. We used the same number we used maybe 3 years ago. When did we do the Steck easement? That was done in 2021. Boy, time flies. So 5 years ago, we used the same number. Here's the second parcel. This
Paul?
one's,
Before you continue, so 3 years ago, those were the numbers we used. We're currently using those same numbers again,
that's correct.
even though 3 years have passed and we all know that real estate prices have gone up substantially since then.
Yeah, let's say thank you to the Shaw family for being willing to go with the same number we used, actually 5 years ago, 2021 versus 2026. So
Okay.
And how
it's
much,
a-
I'm sorry, excuse
Yeah,
me.
go ahead.
How many acres was that?
This part, the first parcel was 26. 7.5 were wet, so there's like 19 acres, 18.5 acres of uplands, which is mainly this right here. That's mainly what you're seeing is the large section that's being paid.
Zach, can I just interject into that too, Paul? That photograph is after they hayed the,
Right.
is after they hayed the field.
Field?
And then one of your other photographs shows the side off to the side is before they hadn't gotten to that section yet. So you can see the difference. This grass is probably, what'd you say, 2 feet tall, Paul?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
About 2 feet tall, and the other is down, maybe 5
4
inches or
inches,
4
yeah,
inches
5
or
inches,
something like that.
exactly. So the second parcel is 12.6 acres. Most of it's wet. Only 3.1 acres is hayed. And they have access to that through this little area right here. So they can cut across through here. So here, it would be 2,000 for 3.1 acres, so $6,200. And then, I'm sorry, 2,000 for the balance of the land and 7,150 for the 3.1 acres. When you do all the math, when you multiply the wetlands by 2,000 per acre and you multiply the uplands by $7,150 per acre, the agreed upon selling price is $188,500. And as I said, the numbers were taken to be consistent with what we did for the Steck Farm. So let's talk just a little bit about a conservation easement. It's not quite as simple to understand as an outright purchase where the town just owns the land. In this case, as I said, the landowner will continue to own the land. I'm not going to go through the purchase and sale agreement. It's pretty boilerplate, it's like all the purchase and sale agreements we do. The unique part is the easement, and although there's a few pages of easement, a lot of it's just about what happens if somebody breaches the easement, and how do you resolve disagreements, and those sorts of legalese things, which I'm not going to take the time to go over. I've sent you all the easements, so you all get to read it. This is the page that I think carries the important info. If the people in the back would please put this on camera. Thank you. The property, the use limitations is the key section, in my opinion. The property shall be maintained in perpetuity as open space without there being conducted thereon any industrial or commercial activities except agriculture and forestry. That, in a nutshell, is the entire easement, right there. Can't build on it, but you can use it for agricultural purposes. The rest gets into defining what are agricultural purposes, what can the town do. So I'll go through a little of this. For the purposes hereof, agriculture and forestry shall include any and all agriculture, animal husbandry, floriculture, and horticulture activities, and ancillary uses thereof in compliance with all applicable laws, including without limitation to farm, ranch, raise, and breed livestock, graze cattle, construct agricultural buildings. Now, you say, whoa, 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 he said you can't build anything. You can build you can build a building if it supports your agriculture. So if you need a barn to store the hay, you can do that. But you can't turn it into a subdivision, put $1 million homes in this beautiful parcel because they have a great view of New Hampshire. Let me keep going. Where was I? And install any necessary infrastructure such as drainage and irrigation, the production of any and all plant and animal products for commercial purposes, including without limitation the growing and stocking of Christmas trees or forest trees of any size, capable of producing timber and other wood products, or the cutting and sale of timber and other wood products. Goes on to talk about agriculture and property shall be performed to the extent possible in accordance with the coordinated management plan for the entire property, kind of like we do in town, and we have a management plan for our town forest. This encourages the landowner to use a management plan. The property shall not be subdivided. No structure improvement such as road, dam, fence, bridge, culvert, or shed shall be constructed, placed, or introduced in the property except as necessary and desirable in the accomplishment of the agricultural, forestry, conservation, or recreational uses of the property. So if we were to put a trail in, we could put a bridge if we had to go over a little stream, for example. With permitted structures or improvements, including without limitation fencing, farm roads, utilities, water management. So again, it comes back to that same sentence. You can't build on it unless what you're putting on it supports agriculture. You can't change the topography, you can't sell the water, you can't sell the loom. No signs, billboards, or outdoor advertising structures shall be displayed on the property. There shall be no mining, quarrying, excavation, or removal of rocks, minimal gravel, sand, topsoil, or other similar. So there's limitations to what can be done. You don't want somebody to take away all the value of the property. These are the last two items I'll read, which are important. If the grantee, that's us,
Can you push that up a bit, Paul?
Oh,
We
sorry.
can't see it.
There you go.
right here. If the grantee obtains an easement or ownership interest in a property abutting the property, then the grantee may install a public hiking trail on the property. Any such hiking trail shall not interfere with the grantor's agricultural use of the property. Okay, got to explain that. Let me go back to the first map. Basically, what the landowner is saying is you can put a trail on it, but at this point, there's no way to access the property. Obviously, we're not going to go up Marshall Road, park in the guy's driveway, and walk down his field to get to it. That's trespassing. And since we have no access to Jericho Road, there is no way for the town people to get to these properties if we were to put a trail in. So the reason for that language is, for example, were we to ever acquire an interest in this property, which is 80 some odd acres, Karen,
Yep.
that's an inside joke. Then potentially you could come down Jericho, come off Jericho Road and come through that field and then have access to this field, in which case we would limit the trails to being close to these ponds and out of the way of where they're doing their agriculture. So we're allowed to put trails if we get legal access to their property, which we currently don't have. And the last thing I wanted to read just disappeared on me. Here it is. Hunting and snowmobiling are only permitted on the property upon prior written consent of the grantor. He's had issues with people wanting to hunt on his property before, and hunters getting into arguments over who got there first, and he doesn't want to see any of that. So he wants to have the ability to sign off on anybody who's going to hunt or snowmobile on his property. That's the one limitation that he was insistent on.
Paul, well, let's point out that all of what you're reading in here will be attached to the minutes of this meeting and available for public scrutiny when we get it published on the web, Conservation Commission
Yeah.
web.
And all this gets recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Right,
So these things aren't just
But if there's
something we
people
agree
out
to
there
now.
that want to be able to look at it in greater detail, they'll be able to go to the Conservation website and see that.
Easement? Okay. That is the entirety, oh, I guess I have one more thing. Karen
Did you
won't
do
let me
the
get away with
checklist?
this. Almost forgot, Karen. The checklist. So again, this is kind of a summary of what we're talking about here. It's Shore Farm, go down. Shore Farm Dairy owns the property. There are two lots, 10-243 and 10-240, 38.6 acres in total. It's off Jericho Road. Protects the town's rural character and natural resources. I think it does that. Property meets one or more goals identified in the master plan. I think that's true. And the property owner is interested in conservation. That's absolutely true. In fact, he has a conservation easement on the rest of the property in Massachusetts. Definitely protects water resources. You saw not only those ponds, but the beautiful wetlands behind those ponds. And this, by the way, is a prime wetland. These wetlands are prime wetlands. They were voted as prime wetlands years ago. So if I go back to this map, all this hash mark, all these hash marks that you see all along here are all prime wetlands. And this is open water. This section here is open water, and these are open water. These two are not prime wetlands, but all this is. These are too small.
But
So,
they're important because they're right next to the prime wetlands.
Absolutely.
So we obviously don't
They-
want them to get damaged, polluted, whatever, because
correct.
that will
And
get
once we
into
put
the
a
prime wetlands.
conservation easement on them, then we can be
Right.
rest assured that, there won't be any septic waste or anything that will be going into them. So it definitely protects water resources, land connectivity. We're going to talk about another parcel which abuts these, and it abuts the Dunlop easement, so I think it qualifies for land connectivity. Outdoor recreation, I checked that, maybe not today, but I'd like to think in the future, that parcel I pointed to, if we were ever to get some access to that, we would be able to do outdoor recreation, and then there would be educational values. I didn't, these are always a little iffy. I didn't check scenic views because you really don't see it from Jericho Road. You see it from Marsh Road, but not sure.
You can't get to
A lot of
it.
Pelham residents go down Marsh Road to look at the view, so I felt uncomfortable checking scenic views. Clearly
You gotta
wildlife
Pull it
move,
up.
habitat.
you gotta move
Oh.
that thing a little.
Tons of wildlife habitat. I mean, you saw the Canadian geese, but this
Didn't
is
he say there was deer there all the time too?
all the time. He said they
Yeah.
were bedding, there were like 5 of them bedding there the morning we went. Obviously, they're working lands and active agricultural. Yep, move it down, there we go. In active agricultural forest management use, you saw that, definitely reduces housing units. As you saw, I took a picture of one of the houses that was right there, clearly buildable land. And somebody could easily put a road in from Massachusetts, just like they did to put that one house that's in New Hampshire, and they could fill that field with houses. That's a no-brainer.
You know,
And-
can I just stop you for 1
Yeah.
second too, Paul? I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but the land that we're doing the easement on is what, 38 acres or something like
Uh-huh.
that? But the land in Massachusetts that he had is at least double that.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say? Because
I
we had
would
to
say.
drive quite a ways down the field till we got to the,
Yeah.
to the state
I
line.
would say maybe half the land's in Mass, maybe a little more than
It's-
half is in Mass.
More than half is in Mass, I
It's
think.
huge.
It's
It's
a nice,
big.
it's a beautiful piece, yeah. And there are no disqualifying criteria. So that's the proposal. I guess what I would like is someone to make a motion that we move ahead with the acquisition of a conservation easement on these two parcels.
Paul, before we do that, could you talk a little bit for the people at home, what the process will be? Should we vote in favor of this? What are the next steps?
Good
'Cause
question.
that's,
So it's a pretty rigorous process. The next step is that we have to go to the planning board, make the same presentation to the planning board, and hopefully they will agree that this is a good thing to do, and they will write a letter of recommendation to the select board. Then the selectmen have to hold 2 public hearings, 2 weeks apart. They can't vote at either one, then they have to wait 2 more weeks, so that plenty of time for the public to give input, and then they vote. So I'll get in touch with Jen in the planning department tomorrow and ask her to put us on the agenda. So let's say we get on the agenda maybe late June, early July, and then the selectmen have to have their public hearing. This may not close till September.
So there'll be
Something like
ample
that.
time for public comment on this.
Plenty of time.
Several times.
Plenty of
You have
time.
to open it to public
Yeah.
today, too,
Yeah,
before we vote on it.
good point. You should probably, since this is a public hearing, you should open it to the public. Even
Like to
Yeah,
open
yeah.
it to the public? And if there's anybody who wants to speak on, now they can. Seeing none, we'll continue. So,
I have a question on the funding for this. Do we have money set aside already in?
Great question. I should have covered that. Thank you. Yes, the current use monies, this is not going to come from the bond money. This will have no impact on taxpayers. This is sitting in our bank account. Last time I checked, which was a few months ago now, but we had somewhere in the order of $700,000. So
It's
taking a
less.
couple of $100,000 out, what?
Less,
It's less now?
much less,
600?
or like 425.
it's about four
or
something.
like that.
Okay, thank you.
but we
But
certainly have
still-
enough to
So
cover
there'd be
it.
no impact?
Still,
None.
no impact on the taxpayer, no bond money needed. This is current use money.
Great question.
Can you just explain, like, where the current use money comes from, like, just quickly, just?
All right, quickly. That's always a hard one to
Well, I
explain
mean,
quickly.
or not, whatever, just so that people
If
are
a
aware where the
landowner
money
owns
comes
a lot of
from.
land, they can, more than 10 acres, they can do what is called putting their land into current use. What's the current use of the land? Oh, it's a forest. Okay, then the assessor will only charge taxes based on its current use as a forest. If you don't do that, the assessor's gonna charge taxes based on its highest and best use, which is usually as a subdivision. And there's a huge difference between how much you're gonna get taxed on if it's appraised as a subdivision, assessed as a subdivision, versus assessed as a forest. So people with large tracts always put them in current use, save a ton of money on taxes. Okay, now the day comes when they decide to sell them to a developer, let's say, and get a bunch of money. Then the town says, time out. We gave you a break for all those years. Now you owe us 10% of the appraised value for your property, appraised at the highest and best use at the time it was sold. So now if it's, let's say, appraised at $1 million for round numbers, the town gets 100,000. All 100,000 comes to us. And we get to use that to buy open space. So it's a way to offset. If it's only a 10-to-1 offset, though. If, a developer spends $1 million to buy a bunch of land, we only get 100,000. So if we're paying the same amount the developer is, we're only getting 10% the land. So it's a losing battle in a way, but it's better than nothing. So we get current use money.
And it avoids taxpayers.
And it avoids
Paying.
the taxpayer paying. This is paid for by the
That's the key.
developer or the landowner, whoever decides to pay it.
Good question, thank you. So, someone want to make a motion at this point in time to go forward with?
I'll make a motion to go forward with the acquisition of these two lots.
But he's second.
Or the conservation easement.
Acquisition of a conservation easement.
Right.
And say the total, too. It's 188,500.
188.5K.
188,000.
Okay.
500.
188,500.
I'll second, oh,
Okay.
go ahead.
I'd be honored to second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, this is going to be a straightforward one compared to that. This map's going to look familiar because it's almost the same piece of land. Well, it's the same area. Can orient you again. Here's Jericho Road. This piece and this piece, there's the two little ponds we just talked about. So there's the Dunlop easement. So if this goes through, we'll have Dunlop easement, which will be connected to about 40 acres of easement in through here. We would like to purchase this 14-acre parcel. Admittedly, it's mostly wet. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. But the people are willing to sell it for $2,000 an acre. Same amount we offered here for the wetlands. So it'd be $28,000 to protect that 14-acre parcel. And as we've all seen, especially Ken's, because he's on the ZBA, sometimes wetlands get impacted, sometimes wetland conservation districts get built on. And so the fact that there's even a little uplands on here makes it at risk of someday being developed. And I think for the small amount of money and for the connectivity, the fact that it's a prime wetland, it's not a lot to ask to protect another 14 acres. So with that 14 acres, with the 39 acres we just talked about the conservation easement on, and the Dunlop easement, Karen, help me,
17,
17, thank you. So somebody with quick math, 14 and 17 is 31, and 39 is 60, right? Did I do that right? Something like 60 acres we would protect. And if we ever get lucky and get this 80-acre piece, you'd be talking about close to 100 and, over 100, about 150 acres contiguous that would be protected. So I think they're small, but, they add up.
I have a question. Does Shaw own the second parcel?
Oh, great question. No, it's privately owned. Privately owned.
and that's going for 2,000 an acre?
Right, so that would be $28,000. It's a 14-acre parcel.
Okay,
Unfortunately, it does not have road frontage, so you can't use it to get access to the Shaw land. And if you did, you'd need a boat anyway because there's
Yeah.
open water there.
Yeah.
So that's not a point where we're going to access the Shaw farmland from. This is really a protection of wildlife habitat and open space and prime wetlands. It's the stuff we all stand for on conservation.
And the price is right.
And the 28,000 again would come out of current use money. And as Karen just said, if we have 400 and something thousand, we're using 188,000 up on the first one. So another 28 is
so we're gonna be down around 200.
20,000. Yeah, it'll be down around 200,000.
Which is kind of low for us. We usually have a
Which is
good
kind of
amount.
low, but it takes time to get
Yep,
land deals. to
I'm
that
sure with
point.
the development, ongoing development that takes place in this town, there'll be some more money
Yeah,
coming in.
probably will be. Any other questions about this one? I know this one's very simple. Not an easement, this is an outright purchase. Town will own the entire, all the rights.
And do you have a copy of the purchase and sale agreement?
You know what? I sent it to you electronically, but I didn't print it out.
Okay. That will also be attached to the minutes of the meeting?
Oh, I have the checklist.
yeah, do the checklist.
I have the checklist. So it's owned by the Bernhardt family. It's map 41, lot 10, 244, 14 acres off Jericho Road. Again, protects the town's rural character, certainly protects the natural resources. I mean, protecting a prime wetland that meets the requirements of the master plan. The owner is interested in conservation. Well, they're interested in selling it to conservation. I guess that says they're interested in conservation. They're not trying
Well,
to.
they were willing to take a lower price for it.
And
you
they're
know,
willing to
like
take a
that.
lower price for it. So-
That's one of the signs that people are interested, because, like, we get the 10%, so you say, like, if they sell the land, if the land is in current use and they sell it for $1 million, we get $100,000. But when our goal for the new people, and anybody who's listening, our goal for an acre of land is $7,000. You cannot buy an acre of land for $7,000. So if a landowner is willing to sell us the land for $7,000, they're obviously interested in conservation and locking it up. Because an acre of land goes for upwards of $100,000. So even though we get like the 10% of the current use funds, so it's not a lot, it's like say 100,000 on $1 million, we get 100,000, but with the 100,000, like, this piece is worth 28,000, so we're buying 14 acres. You're not gonna buy 14 acres for $28,000. I mean, probably wouldn't buy it because it's wet anyways, but that other one with the conservation easement on it, that's prime
That's
real
prime
estate,
for, yeah.
you know? Now, if they were to sell it, they can sell that land because they still own it. But with the conservation easement, we've purchased like, is it like 85% of the value of the land
It's
or
about that,
something like
80,
that?
85% of the value is the
Yeah.
development rights.
So they could still sell it to somebody else and somebody else, but the somebody else would have to honor the easement. So that somebody else could farm it or whatever.
Right.
And this gentleman, his son is, kind of learning how to take over the farm, when he retires and stuff. So there will be a different owner on it and stuff.
Okay, so,
So it protects water resources, we saw that, it's a prime wetland. Land connectivity, it abuts to the land where we just talked about. I didn't check outdoor recreation for obvious purposes, I don't think we're gonna really ever get a trail there. Educational value, what made me do that, it says the land
Pull
can
it
be
up
used to
higher.
teach forest management, wildlife management, and about flora and fauna.
You gotta move
Plenty
it.
of wildlife management and flora and fauna on that property here. So I checked it for that reason.
absolutely.
And then wildlife habitat, it's clear there's significant wildlife habitat. Reduces housing units, maybe. There is a little upland on there. Could you have put a house on that? I'm not sure. We've certainly seen.
People will try to find a way to do that,
Right,
Paul.
exactly.
You and I both know that.
And that was pretty much it. That one's pretty straightforward. Although I'd be happy to ask any questions if anybody
You gotta
has any that we didn't answer.
open it.
Like to open it to the public? Does anybody from the public want to speak on this particular item? Hearing none, we'll go back into session again. Question, I just want to emphasize again that this information that we're sharing here tonight will be available on our website. So again, if you want to dig into any of this, because it's open for public discussion and public review, please go to the website, it will be there. Okay, we're not trying to make this as open a process as humanly possible. I want to emphasize that.
Can I say something too about, related to that? So this is a public hearing tonight, so it's open to the public tonight. We all have been discussing these parcels now for months. So usually it takes, what do you think, Paul, maybe around a year to pull a project like this together from the time that you approach the landowner and start conversations?
If you're lucky, I've had
If
them
you're
go
lucky.
10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's,
this one's been pretty straightforward. This one's been both of these have been under a year, so these are the fast ones.
right, but that's not unusual, like, we were talking about these maybe in the fall.
Yes, they move more quickly than
Most.
Right,
most.
so they've been, in non-public session, we talk about like when we find a piece of land that we might want to buy. So we're all, kind of familiar with these, so this is kind of like the opportunity for the public to hear about them. Just so that people don't think, oh, you're just presenting this and we're just voting on it.
Right.
We're well aware of this, and also the selectmen are aware of it previously to their public hearing too, because we have to make sure they're gonna be at least somewhat on board before we put all this work into something, because you spend months talking to landowners and nailing down, restrictions that some of them might have or whatever.
Even with
And stuff like-
friendly sellers,
Yes,
it's a long process.
right. So we don't wanna do that and not tell the selectmen, like, we're not doing that. The selectmen know about it. They're well aware of it before we dive into it,
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, needless to say. And a lot of times too, we have these discussions and we have them as non-public because we don't really know how they're gonna go. We could go in, we could try to talk to a landowner, one day he says no, we go back 6 months later, maybe I'll think about it. Then we go back another year later and they're like, yeah, I thought about it. Circumstances have changed, we're willing to negotiate. So it does take a long time. And the other thing is that there's a reason why we do it in confidence, because while we're doing all of this, to be honest with you, we could get scooped. If the word got out that we're buying a particular piece of property and we don't have a lot of money to spend, as we talked about, we try to minimize what we pay for these lots, this land. So we don't have a lot of money. So it's conceivable that if the word does get out, that somebody could come in and offer a better deal to the landowner, and we could lose it. So that's also important. But we try to keep, once we get to a point where we are very serious about this, which is tonight, then we certainly we open it up to the public so the public understands what's going on. We make all the information we have available to the public so they can see it. Then we have multiple hearings where the public is invited to participate. Planning participates, it goes to the Board of Selectmen, they hold public hearings, and then we continue the process. So there's a lot to it, and we're doing a couple of them right now, and it's like, how long has this been going on?
Right.
Does it ever end?
Right.
We got to see somebody else. So it's a long, drawn-out process. So I'd like to see if someone wants to make a motion for the second one.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we purchase map 41, lot 10-244, 14 acres for $28,000.
Way better motion than me.
Pretty straightforward.
Not a
Thank you.
competition.
Thank you. Anybody want a
Plus, she
second?
had the
We need a second?
foresight.
I'll
that
second that.
We talked
Okay,
about.
Alex is going to second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
I also vote aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, so we'll move forward on those. Now, the minutes, you're saying that we're gonna attach all this to the minutes.
Yes.
I might have to do it in a different way than that, because this minutes thing on this system
System's hard
is
to put in.
odd.
It will be available.
So
We'll figure it
I'll
out.
have to somehow like scan it and get it just up on our website or something. It's probably not gonna be married to the minutes.
Okay,
Just,
but it'll be available for public review.
it'll be available.
That's
It'll
the
be
important
available.
part.
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be fine.
Great.
Okay.
One other thing before we go to the next item on the agenda. I'd like to be able to get approval to spend $825 to the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions. This is our yearly dues, if you will, for the commission. So I'd like someone make a motion to accept the invoice and pay the invoice.
I'll make the motion and I'll make the comment that we've paid this for years and most conservation commissions in town do. And the New Hampshire Association for Conservation Commission provides us with information that you can call them, ask questions. They have an annual meeting, which I've gone to on occasion, I'll say 3 times probably, and it's quite informative. They have some good presentations and it's good people to meet. So I'm a supporter of keeping them active, and so I'll make the motion that we spend $825
I'll second.
as our fees, annual dues.
Okay, Michelle is going to second that?
I'll
Yep.
second that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to say okay to pay.
Okay, did we vote on it?
Nope.
We can vote on it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none? We're fine. Thank you.
That's an item that gets fit into the budget every year too, so like, we've already budgeted for it. So it's not like coming out of another weird place, you know? It's already
Supposed to be opposing
accounted
stuff
for.
every time.
Okay, that takes care of all of that. Now we can go on to the new business. And at this point in time, I'm going to recuse myself, and I'm going to ask that Karen run the meeting for this next one.
Oh, okay, all right.
So you're going to have to
wasn't
appoint
thinking
another
about
person,
that.
right? Voting member?
You might want to say why you're recusing yourself.
Oh,
One of the things that I've worked in agreement with, and I think it makes a lot of sense, when it first came to my attention, I didn't think it was such a great idea, actually. When people say, no, you can't, you tend to just push back a little bit. But what's happened is that there are cases that have come before, I'm on the ZBA, and there are cases that come before conservation for recommendations, and that case generally will end up at the ZBA, okay, particularly when it has to do with WCDs and what. So what I've agreed, and based upon information supplied by our town attorney, he recommended not having 2 bites of the apple. So me voting here on conservation and having it come up before ZBA, he recommended probably wasn't good thing to continue doing. So that's the reason why I'm gonna recuse this. I don't have any relatives, I don't have any financial interests. It's just as simple as that, making sure that I don't get to vote twice on the same, which I think is important. And probably, as we move forward, I'd like to see other town officials, if you will, who are in the same position as I, take the same position to only vote once on a matter as opposed to twice. So I hope that works itself out. So therefore, I'm going
Seems
to back
reasonable.
off.
I'll have to step down as well. I'm on ZBA with you.
But you're
an
not
alternate.
you're a voting member?
Okay, so as an alternate, I can stay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're not a voting member.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn that over to you.
Okay, I can stay here, right?
And I'm gonna sit
Can
in the
I,
audience.
can I stay here?
Go anywhere you want.
Okay. All right, so do you guys want to come up and present your? All right, so do you think I need to appoint Carla?
Yes.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. Will you be a voting member for us? Okay, thank you.
Karen, do you guys have plans?
Only what we saw
We had
electronically.
the single sheet that you sent, but I don't know if anyone printed it out.
I don't.
I don't think people printed it out. I mean, I have one in this packet that I got. I don't know if it's the same exact thing as what you have there.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's always a good idea.
I'm good.
Just full of good ideas.
I feel like
I have one.
I'm good.
I am all set, thank you.
All right.
Okay, could you just give us a little,
Yep. Good evening. For the record, my name is Shane Gendron. I'm employed with Herbert Associates. With me this evening is Tyler Kosick. He's the owner of the property. A little about this property. It's been in the Kosick family since it was created. It was created and approved by Planning Board back in 1971. It's a 4.7 acre parcel. It's encumbered largely by wetlands. There's only about 35,000 square feet of upland area on this lot, and only about 9,100 square feet of area outside of WCD. So there's a lot of WCD encumbrance on this. I believe this is also listed as a prime wetland, although it's not one of your prime wetlands that is highlighted with a larger buffer area on it. Mr. Kosick bought the property from his parents. Obviously, this is Kosick Terrace. Kosick family has had a large influence on this area of town. As we know, Mr. Kosick was a building inspector here in town for years. Tyler's uncle lives at the end of the Kosick Terrace. His brother lives right next door. And then he has another brother that lives just up the street off of Webster Ave on property that abuts these properties, as well as a cousin that lives up there. So it's kind of a family compound, if you will. He's currently raising his family there. He just had a baby. He's got 2 small children, and he's looking to put an addition on his property on the house. The only feasible area really to add on is on the left side of the house. On the right side of the house is a driveway. There's a garage. There's a detached garage. To the front, we have our septic system, septic tank. So we proposed a 30 by 28 addition. It's just so to give you some background, the house is a raised ranch. It's basically a split entry ranch, so it would only be a 1-story addition. Would have a foundation around it. Approximately 720 square feet of it would be within the WCD. And we are currently in front of Zoning Board of Adjustment to ask for relief to allow that addition. For this evening's meeting, I did add to our plan that we would do a drip edge all the way around the proposed addition on the house. We are not cutting any trees or any vegetation in order to do this. The area where the addition is currently maintained as grass. So there's just excavation and literally put a foundation in the ground and build the addition. With that, I mean, that's really all about the plan. The lot was plotted and approved by Planning Board back in '71, way before WCD ordinance came in. There was a variance back in 2013 to allow the home. And at that time, it was Mr. Kosick's parents, who were basically a retired couple, This is a young family, they just need a little bit more space, and so they're at zoning board asking for some relief. And we're here this evening to ask for your input and advice on what we should do with this plan.
Anybody got questions? Michelle?
Sorry, I have a question. So if I'm looking at this map, on the right side, it's a driveway?
On the right
Where
side
it
is
says
the...
existing pavers, that's where the wording is, it says existing pavers?
Yeah, exactly. That's a walkway, the pavers that go to the front door.
Did you put the map up and point things out? Did you do that
can.
earlier? I was looking down writing.
No, I was just talking.
All right, could you go through that?
Sure.
Just so that everyone's a little more
Can we,
clear on
can
where
we zoom
things
this in a
are?
little bit too? Like right in this area here. Great, that's probably good. All right, so yeah, I mean, coming off of Cosick Terrace, we have an existing driveway that goes to a garage under on the home. And there's also a detached garage here. There's a walkway, septic system is in the front. And the 28 by 30 addition would be off this end of the home. And basically just match the existing roof line. Again, it's a split entry ranch, so it's not an easy home to put an addition onto. But this would match the existing roof lines. It's not a 2-story, it's just a single-story addition. That's really all about the construction.
Sorry, so you couldn't put that addition on that side, the right side? Where
On
it's
the
already
right, on the right
disturbed?
side, we can't. It would block the garage. The other thing is
So
is
the
there's,
doors go in, faces the house?
they face each other too, so you wouldn't have access into the other garage either. We thought about that.
Can you build up?
Costs a lot more money to build up.
I was thinking the garage doors face the driveway, the entering. They don't.
No,
They
they're
face
on the
house.
end.
Yeah, they face.
Yeah.
The on the end
Tru-
of the
if
home.
we
the
could,
garage.
if we could, I would put it on the right side. If I had the money, we'd build up. This allows us to live in the home while we build an addition, get maybe an extra bedroom.
Does anybody else?
Yeah,
Alex?
so why are we making the decision to build on a wetland conservation district instead of the 30-foot building setback? I'm not a lawyer, so I don't necessarily understand, what it takes to build somewhere. But like, as far as impacts on the rest of the community, I would imagine that building on, the non-wetland closer to the street would be less of an impact on everybody's future, right? Like, it's a family road, right? And there are plenty of houses that are closer than 30 feet on the streets here. So like, what's stopping you from moving that forward?
It's a good question. One of the reasons is the septic system. There's a septic system in the front yard, and I have to maintain a certain setback from the foundation to that septic system and to that septic tank. It's a minimum 15-foot setback to that. Also, if you look at it, the WCD actually comes into the roadway and crosses the roadway, comes into
Yeah.
that area. So I'm not really getting out of the WCD to pull it forward that much.
Yeah.
I'm trading off, right? I'm trading off area a little bit. The problem is that a split entry ranch is not an easy home to put an addition on. You really need to come off of it perpendicular, and you need to do an addition that makes sense with the roof lines, and it's not an easy thing to do. The most cost-effective thing for the Cosicks would be to propose it where we have it. And again, we're not proposing to do any vegetation cutting or anything like that. It would really just be trading off area. We might get a little bit more if we tried to pull it forward somehow, but the septic system's gonna block us. We'd have to redesign that septic and try to move it over. There really isn't much room on this lot to do that.
So the vegetation was cleared before this was established as a WCD?
That's correct.
All right, okay. And I mean, I have a few more questions. if
Sure,
that's
fire
okay.
away.
So like, it's my understanding that wetland conservation districts themselves also do things like capture floodwater and sequester carbon. What are the things that you're going to do beside to catch that water or make up for that space? I saw that there was a drip edge.
Yep.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so we're proposing a 3-foot drip edge around the foundation that basically just capture any water that drips off the roof edge. And we have that all the way around the foundation, so it'll help capture and infiltrate stormwater. I'd
So
say
it's gonna-
in this scenario, This is not steep land or anything like that. It's very, very flat. Is probably the easiest ways to capture water and infiltrate it. It doesn't really make sense to propose structures and do, gutters and that sort of thing. It really, the most effective way to do it is with a drip line edge.
And so this is just like your yard right now. This is just grass.
Yeah, it's mobile grass.
You,
We have a
you
chicken
mow,
coop
you
over
mow
there.
this
That,
space.
say that again?
Do you mow this
Yep,
space?
yep. There's no trees. There's no, it's not wooded at all. It's high and dry. We have, if you see the chicken coop off to the left, that's basically, that's where the chickens roam, that whole side of the yard right there.
And then I got another question, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
It's my understanding that like this goes along. I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Beaverbrook? Is that with the water?
No.
What's the waterway that this flows? It looks like there
Runs
was a
into
stream that
Golden
flows
Brook, I
into
think.
Little Island Pond. Is that correct?
Runs into Golden Brook.
Golden Brook
Golden
down
Brook.
Hobbs,
Under
down
38 and then goes.
right,
that's-
under 38, behind the back of the homes on Hobbs, and then eventually down to Golden Brook.
Right.
I don't think it's an unnamed wetland, right, Paul?
It is a prime wetland though.
Yes.
Doesn't
Yeah.
have a 100-foot buffer like you
But
said,
there's no
it's a
there's no
wetland.
channel or brook that's named through it or anything like
No,
that.
no, I think it's a seasonal stream.
Yeah.
Has there been any assessment on if this will have any impact on anybody potentially downstream or in the rest of the, wetland? We're in a severe drought right now, our part of New Hampshire, and we've been in drought conditions for weeks, if not the majority of the last couple decades. What kind of impact will 700 plus square feet have on the drought? This used to be a poorly draining soil. If you take that poorly draining soil away,
Well, let me
how do people,
back up a
interpret
little
that?
bit, okay?
how would somebody watching tonight?
Yeah, let me correct a couple things too,
Correct me,
okay?
Yeah, please.
We're not impacting any poorly drained soils, okay? WCD is a 50-foot setback off of
Yeah.
a poorly drained soil, and we're asking to put an addition in that setback area. So it's all dry land that we're
So
impacting.
this is
The
technically
proposal-
upland you're building on?
Yes, absolutely. There's no wetland impacts proposed here.
Okay.
Secondly, you asked me about what are we doing? We're putting the drip line infiltration around the foundation.
Yes.
That, coupled with the soil conditions on this property, because it's very sandy, we're going to infiltrate our stormwater for our 5, our 15, and our 25. Is it going to impact anything downstream greatly? In my estimation, no. I mean, I look at much bigger projects, subdivisions where I do 20, 30 homes. We don't have much impact on that leaving downstream on our peak performance flows. Something like this, negligible, if any at all. I mean, you're talking about 0.00001. It's almost impossible to calculate. But we are trying to put our best foot forward as far as doing the drip line, doing something that, makes sense. And this is what the Kosiks would like to do with their property. They have a young family, they have young children, and they really do need a little extra space in the home.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep.
Paul, you got comments? or-
I got just a quick.
You got a
You said you before the ZBA now.
So we already presented before the ZBA, but the recommendation was that we come and meet with you folks. When we got on the agenda, there wasn't a way to be before you before we were on the agenda. So they kind of had told us on the front end, hey, we're going to ask you to conservation, and we were fine with that. So we're continued out, and we're going to be back in front of ZBA, I think, in the first meeting in July.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, anybody?
Gonna go?
Sure.
So Shane, are there gutters on the house or the garage, the existing house or garage?
There is, yes.
Excuse me?
There is, yes.
And do they go into dry wells?
They do.
They
Go
go
to
in,
dry wells?
Yes.
a dry well is a structure that was created underground that the water goes into and absorbs the water into the
No,
ground.
No, the downspouts just go off onto the ground.
Okay, so
Onto the
there's
garage.
Sorry,
downspouts, but there's
all
no,
right, apologize.
okay. Were there any plantings done during, unfortunately, see, I was here in 2013. Were there any plantings put in when the original structure was done?
Did you?
I'm not
Okay.
positive if there was specific,
Was there ever any flood storage created when the original subdivision was done?
I believe they did. I believe David Mendez did the excavation on this, and I believe that they did lower the areas on either side behind the garage and the home to create a flood storage area there.
Behind the garage and the home to
Yep.
create the flood storage?
Yep.
Well, there's- okay.
That condition, when we did that, was to basically take the grade down to create flood storage area.
Yes, because there was
Because you were
something
filling
like,
it.
Right.
where is my note here? There was 20,800 cubic feet of WCD fill that was going in, so that was lost flood storage, because this
Right.
is all in the flood.
That's correct.
And we had recommended, as you know, of course, we voted against this. Planning
Sounds-
board, this Conservation
Sounds
Commission
familiar.
voted against going ahead with this. And we asked, at the time, the proposal was there were going to be gutters going into dry wells, which obviously didn't happen. There was going to be plantings, which didn't happen. It sounds like there might be some amount of flood storage that was put in place, but I sure would like to have known how much.
Okay.
Because if you look at the planning board's approval, although when you came to us initially 13 years ago, you initially said, not, this is fact, Shane, not attacking you.
I'm not fine.
The initial proposal was 8,000 square feet of WCD impact, and then we worked at it, and you got it down to 6,000 square feet. When you look at the planning board's approval that Jeff Gowen signed on November 18th of 2013, I think it is, I have it written here somewhere, it said 11,000 square feet. So somehow it got from 6,000 square feet to 11,000 square feet, and the only way I can see it getting there is if there was 5,000 square feet disturbed to create flood storage.
That's what it is. That's what that number is.
That's what it is, but did it happen?
Did it happen?
If the
Yes,
dry wells didn't
exactly.
happen and the plantings didn't happen, why should we believe that the flood storage was added? All right, let me see what else.
Is
I
that
have.
something you could find that out, Shane?
Yep. Yeah, we could look into that.
To see if that happened? You were supposed to dig down like 2 feet or something in
Yep.
different areas to.
Another question, there's a little, if you put the plan back up, please. There's a little dotted line behind the house that goes over to behind the garage. What is that?
It's pavement. That's existing pavement.
So all that area is paved?
Yes.
But there's a garage under, so are you saying that the floor of the garage under the house is level with the 24 by 24 garage to the right?
Yes, that's
They're all at
correct.
the same level?
Yep.
Okay. And was all that pavement there when you quoted 6,000 square feet of impact?
I believe it was because that garage was part of the proposal.
You're right, no doubt. The
Yeah.
garage part of the proposal.
You wouldn't have got in the garage without having a driveway to it.
Right, but it goes quite a ways in the back. Now there's a deck. There was no deck before. Was there ever a variance for the deck?
I don't
not
know
sure.
if there was a variance for the deck.
Shane, this is the problem we face, and you know this. You know where I'm going with this. You're a smart man, and you've been in this a long time. You give an inch, people take a mile. You want 6,000 square feet of impact, you want dry wells, you want plantings. You don't get the dry wells, you don't get the plantings, you get more than 6,000 square feet of impact. In the letter Conservation wrote, it said, and I will read,
The gutters? Yeah.
come
Are
on,
you losing it,
if I
Paul?
can find it.
What are you looking for?
It says,
Yeah.
but the current design is not, it says, the applicant should be credited for his efforts to minimize the environmental impact of this proposal by reducing the WC disturbance to 6,000 square feet, creating offsetting flood storage, which may or may not have happened, and proposing roof gutters feeding dry wells, which didn't happen. But the current design does not include a deck, pool, shed, or lawn of any significance. Now we find out the whole left side's a lawn, and there's a deck, which didn't go to the zoning board for variance.
What about the coop?
That was my next question. I'm sure the chicken coop didn't go for variance, right?
I doubt it.
And
I don't-
then the planning department denied a proposal to build a structure over to the right where the existing temporary cover-up is. Now there's a temporary cover-up, which is a what am I trying to
It's
say?
not permanent,
It's not, doesn't absorb moisture.
right.
It's,
Impermeable.
thank you, Jesus.
Sorry.
God, I need help. It's impervious surface. So we don't get what we thought we were gonna get, which was dry wells and plantings.
Oh,
Maybe we
Bob.
got the flood story.
He's telling me there is dry wells.
There are dry wells.
All the gutters go into a,
You just said it just ran off onto the ground.
Yeah.
no, I understand that.
You didn't know what we were talking about.
I know what a dry well is. I didn't really know what you wanted to hear for an answer. I apologize for that. All the gutters go into a dry well, right off to the back
Like
left
a
of the house.
subsurface
Correct.
thing
Yes.
that you
the
don't
pipes
really
go into the
see.
ground.
Pipes go into the ground and then they go into a dry well. Correct.
And are there plantings?
I'm not really sure about the plantings. I don't know
Okay.
where the plantings would have been proposed to go.
So you can see the frustration.
I'm willing to
Does it
plant
look
them.
simple? Sure, it looks simple. What else can you do? But it's just a complete violation of, it seems to me, of what we had, not a complete violation, but it's somewhat a violation of what we had agreed to. And there's an existing deck which was never given a variance, and there's a chicken coop which was never given a variance, and there's a lawn which is in the WCD, which wasn't part of the 6,000 square feet of disturbance, and there's a temporary cover-it, which is impervious surface, which wasn't given a variance. In fact, when it was asked for a permanent structure, it was denied, and yet the cover-up is put there. And when you look at an aerial photograph, there's more than one thing where that cover-up is. There are 4 different things, or 3 large things, and one of them might be a vehicle, but those 3 don't look like vehicles unless one of them's a heck of a big camper or trailer.
Yeah, they can't.
So it's hard to come to us and say, oh, gee, now we just want another WC. Where do we say, put yourself in our position. Where do you say to somebody, no, you can't build in the Wetland Conservation District? I said it in this letter that I wrote 13 years ago. It says, to approve this plan, in our opinion, would make a mockery of Pelham's WCD ordinance and efforts to differentiate highly functioning, undisturbed wetland, namely prime wetlands, from wetlands of less value. We got a WCD around a prime wetland, and I just think it's been completely violated. There is no WCD. It's been completely built upon. So I was a no 13 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm a no today. Didn't matter 13 years ago. The ZBA overrode it. They'll probably override it today. But I can't approve this kind of addition. You want to do something, build up. You want to give us something, put it on the right side. Put it on stilts. Put it at the height of the second floor of the ranch and have the cars drive under it into the garage. You can't always say, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that, but I can screw the WCD up. I can't move it forward because it doesn't line up, even though that would get it out of the WCD. I can't put it to the right because there's a garage under. Well, put it up above and drive under the thing. I can't build up because it's too expensive. Nothing can be good except I got to go into the buffer and destroy the buffer. And that's what our whole goal is to try to protect open space. That's why we just talked about spending $200,000 to protect wetlands. So I'm going to stop going on. I'm sorry, Shane, you and I know each other a long time. I hope I'm not being disrespectful.
You are absolutely
or to you,
not.
Mr. Kosick. But from where I sit, I personally, if this were the state, you would have to go for an after-the-fact permit for the deck, an after-the-fact permit for the chicken coop, and an after-the-fact permit for this thing called a temporary cover, okay? And if our town were a little stricter, and I'm gonna ask Ken to follow up on this, and see if that needs to happen. Before we talk about an addition, we ought to be talking about approving the things that have already been put on the site illegally. And I think illegal is the right term. They weren't supposed to have been put there. So I think you ought to come up with a better solution. Build the second floor, or put it off to the right and put it up on stilts and drive under it to get to the garage. Or get rid of the garage underneath. You have a 24 by 24 garage. How many garages do you need? Use the garage as a basement that you get to from the first floor and build this on the right side. And get it out of, it. That would be almost completely out of the WCD. Do something to help us out. This is like the no-brainer solution that just says, well, I don't care about the WCD. That's the easy solution. I'll shut up. Thank you for listening.
And the only thing, Paul, I wanted to follow that up with is I think that ZBA looked at it as if they didn't allow something on this property, it's probably a taking based on zoning.
And that was a hard
Absolutely.
decision back then. And even
Yeah.
then, it was 3-2.
Yeah.
It
No,
was really close.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just letting
You're
you
right.
in on what I feel is why the ZBA allowed us
I
to do what
agree.
we did.
I agree. I'd like to confirm, though, that flood storage was actually put there, because that's a big deal. And Mike Sherman, who's still in existence, like me, old guys, he came in and he talked vehemently against it, because this happens all the time. People say, oh, I'm just building one house, oh, it's only, what was it,
14.
20,800 cubic feet of flood storage. Oh, that'll be no big deal. 20,000 cubic feet will spread out over the 100 acres of wetlands. Not 100, but whatever number of acres. And it's 0.00001. Well, you do enough 0.00001s and pretty soon you got 0.01. And Mike's house that floods during floods further. So we have to take these things seriously. And I said this in the letter 13 years ago. This town spent all kinds of money doing a flood storage study. So how can we allow flood storage to be lost when we're trying to reduce flooding in the town?
Okay, so now it's gonna take me a while because you just said a bunch of stuff that I had written here too. Does anybody else have anything before I go on? Okay. So I guess I wanna just go through what I wrote down, or I might have questions, I'm not sure. First off, on the plan, this one was received March 25th, and it has an extra line on it that your plan doesn't have now. Do you know what that is? It's down here, and it goes through the septic area and comes down to a sharp point and back up.
Yeah, it's just a construction line. When we
Oh,
did-
that's not like a wetland,
No,
because
no.
someone used the same symbol as the edge of poorly drained, so I was like, oh, do we have edge of poorly drained on this side and that side?
You know what it is? It's a setback off of the wetland to allow for the septic system.
Okay, all right,
So you
okay,
have a
that makes
50
sense,
foot-
because it's not on this one.
You have a
but-
50-foot WCD,
Okay.
and I have to be 75 feet with a septic design, and so somebody put an offset for like a
Okay,
construction
all
line.
right, I was like, okay, what, was that a
I-
wetland too, and this
I
is
caught
even.
that, and I turned it off on the plan. Doesn't
Okay,
really
that's
represent
fine,
anything.
that's fine, I just noticed it, like, right now. Okay, so currently you have 2/3 of the garage in the WCD. You have approximately half the driveway in the WCD. A third of the house is in the WCD. The full deck is in the WCD, which was not something we saw in the 2013 review. But, like Paul just said, Mr. Gagnon mentioned it, that the homeowner will probably want a deck or other features in their yard. At the time, the applicant, I know it wasn't you, it was a different relative, said, we were told, well, they don't need a big yard because it's gonna be a retirement home, and we're gonna plant plants directly around on the slope, that we were gonna raise the level of where the house was by about 2+ feet to get above the flood level, and that all around with that slope that slopes down, there was gonna be vegetation, and we were under the impression nothing was gonna happen outside that. They said, we don't need a yard, because we said, well, what about a yard? You're gonna need a place for kids to play and stuff. And they said, oh no, we don't need a yard, we don't want a yard. We even tried to talk them out of the second garage, and they did agree to make the garage smaller. It was, I believe, a 32 by 32, and they agreed to make it a 24 by 24, which was good. But we were like, well, you got a garage underneath, but now you need another garage too. But the gentleman, he had a workshop, whatever, fine, whatever, that's what went through. Not through us, but through the whole thing. Okay, you got a chicken coop within feet of the wetland. Those animals are pooping and stuff like that. We don't particularly want that stuff getting into the wetland. You got the temporary garage shed or whatever, that's 100% in this WCD. Chicken coop's 100% in the WCD. The proposed addition is approximately 86% in the WCD. Okay. Oh, I just said this. The previous design, there was to be no yard. The house was to be elevated 2 feet. Plants were to be planted along the edge of the elevated area. No further disturbance was to be outside of this bermed area. And the plan, I was just going to say, this plan looks like there's a lot of mowed yards, so that there's all that's WCD impact. Everywhere the lawnmower goes is WCD impact, unless it's just over where the septic system. That's the place where it's not WCD. Every other place that gets mowed in this yard is an impact to the WCD. So this is not 6,000. You said there was, I think you said there was over 9,000 space outside that was outside the WCD?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's 35, you're saying 35, I think I read somewhere it was about 31,000. So this lot would not qualify to even build on with the current regulations. But it was grandfathered, we get it. But it seems like you've got, if you say it's 3,500 that you've got probably 3,100 that's either house, driveway, these structures, the deck, the mowing. This is all disturbed area. Okay, the addition. I did a bunch of questions. You said you couldn't go up 2 stories because it's just like a complicated build or whatever. Could the addition be in another area? Could it go where the deck is? Could it go in the already paved surface area? Could you reduce the size of the addition? Could the addition move forward into the setback area? If the road's a private road, you're 30 feet. I know you're not supposed to build in the setback, but you're not supposed to build in the WCD either. This is a private road. It's not even like it's a,
It's not a private, it's a town road now.
Oh, the whole thing's a town road now?
Yes, it is.
Does it still look like this skinny little
No,
thing?
they paved it, they widened it, it's a
Okay, so the
substantial
road goes
it's
up to
town
the edge
road
of the
now.
property now.
Yep, well, there's a right of way, but yes, it's a town road now. And
Okay.
the town maintains it and plows it.
Okay, all right, so that's that.
But it's still a 30-foot setback.
It's a 30-foot setback, but I thought it was a 30-foot setback and it had a little dinky road going through, so really, the width of a normal road would be like, say, a 50-foot right-of-way. If it's a little dinky private road, maybe it's only 20 feet, so you could kind of almost incorporate, you couldn't go over your line, but you could maybe pull something forward, whatever, I don't know. So the road is now developed, that was one of my questions. What size is the deck? Do you know what it is? Because it looks close to the size of the addition. It's smaller, clearly, but it looks,
20 by 22.
yeah, that's a big deck. Let me just write that down. I was gonna ask the size of the upland area. I saw something that said it was around 31, but you're saying maybe 35. So somewhere between 31 and 35,000 square feet is the upland area. Okay.
The other thing is too, I want to mention, we did reflag the wetland. So you know as well as I do, wetlands change.
Right,
They're never the
sure.
same from one flagging to the next. Even when I'm doing a project that lasts more than a couple of years and we flag, wetlands change.
Well,
You know what I mean?
and
So,
there's different people do
I'm
it,
just
and there's a
explaining,
little bit.
there could be a
Yeah.
discrepancy between a previous plan and this plan.
I get it.
Because we
I
did
get it.
a new flagging on it.
I'm not criticizing you for that.
Yeah.
So the amount of land outside the WCD is in the 9,000 square foot range?
Yes,
Do you have more of an exact number? than that?
9,100 square feet is outside of the
91.
WCD.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know the amount of the WCD on the property? Do you know what that square footage, because that's, well, if it's 35 minus 9,
Yeah,
right?
35 minus 9.
Would it be, okay, all right.
I think it's 31 minus 9, isn't it? Because we didn't have 35,000 square feet. That's why it wasn't
35,000,
buildable.
yeah.
So it was
Well, that's what I was- it
31,000
was-
minus 9.
It was 31 then, but he said they just reflagged the wetland,
But he
and
said
there's
it
a little
didn't
more
change.
space now, or whatever.
Okay.
It's somewhere between 35 and 31 anyways, I get that. Do you have any water problems in the garage or the basement, anything seeping up? Nothing, bone dry? You were, not you, but the project itself was approved for a 4-bedroom house, but only a 3-bedroom house got built, or a 4-bedroom house got built, but you've repurposed one of the rooms for like something else and
No.
took the closet?
They built a 3-bedroom split.
They built a 3-bedroom. Any problems with the septic system? That's working well? It's because of the moisture in the area and stuff like that? No excess water table, high water table or anything like that?
No water issues.
And then the project had a building permit denied, 11/21/18. That was to put a 32 by 32 shed, I believe in the same area as this temporary cover-up building or whatever. We couldn't find any other information about that. Was that just like, once it got denied,
What
you're
year was this?
18,
Did you own it in 18?
2018?
Nope.
Oh, okay, all right, so I think maybe that it just got denied and they didn't bother going for a variance or whatever. Okay, that's fine. But that's similar to the size that you're trying to add on. It was 32 by 32 and you were trying to add 30 by 28. And then any approvals, in my opinion, would need to completely restrict any further development on this lot. Because this is the problem that we keep running in with these marginal lots. I understand at the time that this lot was developed, like, when you came before us, we were like, no, we don't think this lot should be developed. But then you went through the process, ZBA, planning and all that, and they said they didn't want to say you couldn't use it because it was already a previously designated lot that they'd been paying taxes on, whatever. And so they thought that it could be a taking if they didn't let you do anything with it. So they let you do this with it and put a reasonable size house and I would argue the garage, maybe the second garage wasn't maybe necessary, but whatever, they let you do it. But now you're coming back and you want more. And I'm like on the same place with Paul. I was there then. I didn't think it was a buildable lot at that time. So I have a real hard time saying, oh, now I think you should add even more to it. And I have a huge problem with this big yard with all grass. So I feel like I'm in the no category for this also, to not, like, I don't think it should be recommended that it should go. Now, we're just advisory.
Yep.
You can bring that forward to zoning. Maybe they'll say, yeah, make your case or whatever. I understand you got a family. I totally get it. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's too intense. The development on the lot was already intense and now it will be more intense. So that's where I'm at. Does anybody have other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to second what Paul and Karen said, you know, you're planning a family. This doesn't look sustainable to me. If you want to have a positive future, try to make, good land use choices today. It looks like there's been a lot of building on the WCD, and I'd like to see less stuff there. I can't say this is sustainable or that I would support this today either, from my perspective.
Anybody else? Comments? Questions? Jesse? Okay. Let me open it to the public. Does anybody in the public want to speak about this case? Seeing nobody, bring it back to the board. What do we want to do with this? What do we want to do about this?
A motion to make a new plan? Like to see
I don't know if they have a,
Is that an option?
well, I don't think they have a place to,
Yeah, they can put it to the right, but it's up to the applicant to come back to us with a new plan. We really
Tilt it
can't.
over the page.
yeah, we can't make
Can't
them
really
do a new
tell them
plan.
to
We
do
can just
that.
say that we just can't recommend this plan.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend this plan. Make a motion not to recommend this to the
Mr. Agenda.
ZBA.
Go ahead.
Oh, what is he?
He
Well,
raised
you're
his
in the middle of a motion. I don't want to.
Oh, no, what are
We're
you,
deciding.
well, let him
what's
say
that?
what he's gonna
Well,
say.
I was just going to ask, is there another meeting, do you have another meeting before I'm at ZBA next? Does anyone know
When
that?
are you at ZBA
I
next?
believe it's July 13th. Does that sound?
Yeah, I think we do meet.
Oh,
Second Wednesday of the,
yeah,
second Monday of the month,
Second Monday of the month.
July. I don't know.
is someone looking this up?
So yeah, our meeting is July 8th and theirs is the 13th, so yes.
Oh, all right, so we're meeting on the 8th.
Okay. So, do you want to do anything? or
you
what
can-
would you like to do?
I mean, we're willing to work with you guys. If there's anything we can do, I know you talked about vegetation, planting vegetation. We can remove the chicken coop. They're a nuisance anyways to me. We could definitely talk about getting rid of that. All this stuff was existing when I bought the property. So I'm willing to work with you.
I understand that.
I'm willing to work with you guys in any way. We can talk about possibly making that addition a little bit smaller.
I'll be honest, because we want to make this work, and so I'm just going to be blunt. The only thing that's going to make me vote yes is if you put it on the right side.
Same
You
here.
put it on the right side and you put it up. I mean, the house is 8 feet up because you drive under it into the garage.
Right, but
So if
it-
you put it on the right side, I can be a yes, because that's already impervious.
Yeah.
So you're not adding impervious. And then if you tell me you're gonna move that chicken coop away and let some of that lawn grow up, we're working together.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
put
what I
those
want. That's
plantings
why
in,
we
should have
came here.
been there.
Absolutely.
But if you're gonna just put it in the WCD where it is now, I just can't. I can't.
Yeah, and I think
I mean,
wanna,
if we move it forward, possibly closer to the road.
which I do think you have to get a variance for that too, don't you, Shane?
We would have to add to the variance that we've already requested.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I think
because you
there's
can't-
time if he wants to make some changes and come back.
If I could put it on the right, I mean, I know I can. We can do anything, obviously, but the garage doors are facing each other. Then we have to, we're moving the garage doors. Now I have to finish the downstairs garage portion of it, not just build an addition. It's a lot more costly. We're just trying to get one more room. I know you guys probably hear that a lot. The sob stories. I get
Well, no.
it. I get
Thank
it.
you for being
I
understanding.
know. I
It's
understand
not
that completely.
that.
We have 2 kids. We plan on raising more. We live, and I don't. There's 3 bedrooms in there. It's just the kitchen and living room. We're just looking for a little bit extra space. Again, it's the family land that we're down there. I'm with my brothers. They all have nieces and nephews. We don't want to move. I don't
Totally understand that.
we're just looking for just a little bit more space, and I get it completely. I respect the WCD. I do. I'm not. I don't try to impact it at all. I don't try to harm the environment whatsoever. Like I said, I bought this property as is. I
course.
apologize for everything that the previous landowner did.
It's,
And I'm willing to
We
work with you.
get that.
There's a camper there. Like, I mean, if it came to it where I had to park it off site, I mean, I'm willing to work with you. I don't want to move.
To be honest, if we really were being hard on you, that's what we'd be telling you, because
I'm
you
willing to
can't
agree
put
with-
anything in the WCD.
Yeah.
You're not even supposed to mow the lawn. You're supposed to let it grow up so it can absorb moisture and filter out. The whole idea is, once contaminants get in a wetland, they often go right into the stream and flow unfiltered. That buffer filters sediment and cleans water before it gets into the wetland. So probably think we're being nasty, but like Karen said, I mean, all this lawn and all these structures and the deck and that's a big deck too, by the way. That's no small deck. I've built a lot of decks. There aren't many that big.
I didn't build it.
That's a big doggone deck. That's the size of a house.
I wish I could make it smaller.
Well, put the building there, put the addition there. Then you can argue that, well,
It's already there.
it's already there.
Yeah, so, I mean, we would be impacting that, it's actually, if you, the property, the wetlands are right off the back of that deck. I shouldn't say wetlands, but the growth, like that's where all the trees are and all the vegetation, so you can't, we'd be doing more harm going that way than off to the left, I do think.
Well, but see, this is what happens. Two people mow the WCD and then they say, well, it's all lawn, so there's no problem. So can I build on it? Because it's
I
already
caught on to
lawn.
that. Yeah, I caught
I'm
on
like,
to
well,
that.
it isn't supposed to be lawn in the
I thought you
first
guys would
place.
have liked
So
the lawn and the chicken coop, but
So I think
let them
what-
go away and come back.
Well, one of the issues with me and with Paul anyway, we were here, we voted on this already, like years ago. So it's very hard, I don't want to speak for Paul, but it sounded like he's in the same place. It's very hard for me to say yes to this when I said no to the other. So now I said no to the lesser thing, and now you're gonna put more, and I'm gonna say yes.
Right.
It's hard for me. Now, we have other members, so they didn't vote on it before. They might be able to say, oh, well, I think it's reasonable, you wanna, you have a family, and you wanna have space for everybody and not like, be on top of each other. I totally get all that. But it's nearly impossible for me to say yes.
Are you interested in us coming back with anything else, or not really? You'd rather us to just say no and go for us to go to ZBA?
No, I'd rather you come back, because anything you can do better, even if we say no next time, if the ZBA approves it, they approve something
Well, that's what
better
I'm
than
asking. If
this.
you're just gonna be a no next time, I'll just take it tonight.
Well, it might be for a better design than what we have here.
Do you want to
How
come
about
back?
to the
or-
right and set back? What if it's not directly to the right, but set back halfway, so it overlaps the house halfway, so you can have a doorway going into the addition, or something like that, but have it where there's already pavement. Give us something.
you'd still be impacting, we'd have to cut trees down, in the wells.
If you cut trees, then this
I was
plan
saying in
isn't
the
accurate,
driveway.
because it shows the trees way back where it says existing well.
Yeah.
I don't see anywhere to put this, Paul. You're trying to like put lipstick on a pig.
Unless you want to put it on top of the garage.
I don't see any place to put this.
Well, the place to put it's still the second floor. That's really the place to do it, if you really want to do it.
I don't,
Well, and I get it, it's a split level house, so that's an awkward scenario too.
yeah, I would just.
Yeah, I understand it. I feel like I don't know where to go with this. I don't know how to say yes to something that I said no to already.
Question, Karen.
So, yes,
So you have a split,
Yes.
so could you do it like a split cape and do the third floor going up?
So the issue he's worried about going up is that he's gonna have to move out of the house in order to make that addition happen, which isn't easy.
with little kids and all
Right.
that, yeah.
I have a split
That's-
cape that's kind of like a ranch, but I did the third floor. What's the second floor?
I wish the first homeowner wasn't cheap and built a bigger house, but.
Yeah, wasn't that your grandfather or something like that?
Thanks, Grandpa.
So the ZBA approved this though, right?
No, we didn't. We
The
continued
the
it.
zoning,
No, I mean.
the,
Way
back.
Way
Yes.
10 years ago.
the only thing we're discussing tonight is this hatched area.
I get that.
That's the addition. The other parts were approved in
Well,
2013.
not the deck, not the chicken
No,
coop,
but
not
the
that.
house and
house
the
and garage,
driveway and the
yeah.
garage, yeah.
I'm not even sure the
Part of the driveway,
I'm not
the
sure
driveway looks a
going
little
back
bigger.
behind
Yeah,
the
it
two
looks a little
buildings
bigger.
was approved either.
But yeah, no, well, I'm not sure. I don't think that was the plan. But you know what, you need to look at for one thing, I don't know what you want us to do, but for one thing, you need to look at the old plan, because there was the house and it kind of sloped down and it had like trees all around it on the plan. That clearly didn't happen.
No.
So you might want to just at least look at that plan and see, because that was something that we had understood was going to happen. So you might want to look at that and see if you can kind of mimic that.
Okay.
And even if CBA says, yeah, you can have the addition, you still should be, most of this yard should be not mowed. And that makes it brutal, because you got little kids and you're like, get out of the house and go run around the yard, you know? But I mean, I don't know where to go with it, because I'm probably gonna be a no if you're in the WCD. I can't.
Well, that's what I was getting at. If you think
Yeah.
it's,
But I
it's a
don't
no, regardless
think-
of what we do,
I
it doesn't
still
make sense
think-
for him to pay me to jump through hoops and then come back here and next month.
I
if
still
it's
think
a
you
no.
should try to make the plan better, even if we say no. I think you should try to make it better.
You might have more chance of getting it by ZBA too. They're gonna have the same issues we have, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything you can do to,
Well, it's up to you.
Or take your addition and you know,
Make it smaller.
make it smaller, but like in a way that you still get the same amount of space. Like if you're looking for a bedroom and a living room or something like that, like just make it smaller, get rid of a hallway that you got in there or something like that. You know what I mean? Like look at a plan, because it seems like this is just a box currently. Like, oh, I just want this much space, but it's kind of a box. It's not really a planned out bedroom, family room space or whatever. It's not like an actual plan. It's just, you know how Shane, come to us all the time and you're like, oh, we're going to put the house here. Well, it's just like a 40 by 30 by 40 box. And you're like, oh, and we're like, well, where's the entrance? Oh, I don't know any of that. And that's just where the house is going to go. Seems like that's what this box is. It's just, it's not really, hasn't been planned out, like what's going to be in it exactly, like
No,
the exact locations.
Sometimes, Karen, it's costly to go to an architect and start
Of
planning out rooms and
course,
stuff.
of course. That's
before you
why
have
you
your
just
variance.
give the box. That's why you give the box. I understand. I totally
Yeah.
understand all that.
These folks are on a budget. I just want the board to understand, you know what I mean? We're
Yes.
not trying to cram something down your throat. We're trying to see what we can do and do it
I
in the
totally
most,
understand.
cost-effective manner we can.
Yes, I totally understand. But I hope you guys understand. I mean, at least where I'm coming from. I said no before because I thought it was too much for the lot. So more on the lot can't be better than what it was years ago. You know, like we're here to protect the environment. We're here to protect the WCD. That's our job, you know. And so I know it's tough, but you got other boards, and they might say, you know, sympathize with the situation and stuff like that. They have to take different matters into consideration than we do.
I'd like to see you take another crack at it and come
Yeah.
back and offer us something. Like, if you look at this aerial plan, everything in this area ought to go away, to be honest. And I don't see why you have to mow way the heck over here. Tell us you're gonna let all that grow in. Tell us you're gonna let all this grow in. Move the thing into the 30-foot buffer a little bit. There's some things you can do to offset some of these things. I'm not telling you got to get rid of a chicken coop. You want to raise chickens, raise chickens.
I don't like where it is,
Okay.
though. It'd be good if it was
I mean,
somewhere else.
Yeah, I know, but the chicken coop's the least of the problems. The big deck without a variance, that's a problem. Having all this stuff parked in the WCD and having that big structure that's impervious without a permit, that's a problem to me. And then to close our eyes to that and approve an addition is just, as they say, a bridge too far. So you come back to us with some gimmies. And to
I mean,
Karen's
we can-
point, how about that old plan that showed the plantings, and we go back to some,
The more you talk about the plantings, I mean, I vaguely remember my father planting.
yeah, but they
It was
probably know where that
vegetation,
deck
but-
is now. I mean, they,
No. The whole side yard. I mean, it grows. It's growing well over. I mean, it's you can't walk through it. It's very, very thick. And Yeah, it's,
Okay, I think.
Well,
we've
so
beat it
what,
enough.
yeah, we beat this to death.
If they
What,
wanna-
do you have to decide what you want to, I mean, I'll vote tonight. I don't know, I assume other
I mean,
people
I'll-
are willing to vote tonight. Or you can come back next, on the 8th, what is it, the 8th? Who said the 8th? Did you say the 8th?
I'd like to see the addition go on that side of the house. We can definitely move it forward a little bit if need be. I can work on getting rid of the stuff down below. It's a camper, a couple trailers, and we can take away that carport. The carport was, or whatever it is, it was, it was there when I didn't know that was, to be honest, I didn't know that was wetlands over there. It's pretty.
It's not.
Well,
It's
it's
wetland
the-
conservation district.
I didn't know you
so
couldn't park something on. I mean,
You're not supposed to
all right.
be cut, it's what we call no cut, no disturb. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to cut the trees, you're not supposed to mow the lawn, you're supposed to let it grow into being
I'm
natural.
willing to plant whatever you guys want. If you want me to let that side yard grow up a little bit, we can definitely do that. We can plant trees over there, bushes, whatever you need. I can get rid of the chicken coop. I guess the really only thing we'd have to figure out is where you would allow me to put that addition. I don't want to move it forward too much towards the road.
Yeah,
The road,
that would
it's
be
not,
awkward
it's not
too.
flat. From the road to the house, it's not flat. There's like a small retaining wall. And,
Septic's there also.
and the septic's there. So it's not, we don't really have too much front
Right.
yard there. It's right after that septic, it kind of slopes down and then it's the road.
But obviously, every foot you bring it forward is a foot you take it out of the WCD, that's the nice thing. The
Absolutely,
whole
yeah.
width of it comes out,
I mean,
so.
would you have a rough footage that you would like to see it move forward or?
30.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there we go, the whole 30
build it in the road.
I don't want to mislead the situation. I don't see where you're gonna put anything on this lot that I'm gonna be good with. I don't,
You want to just have them vote?
That's up to you. I understand your point of view, you know what I mean? If you want them to just vote.
Yeah, you could probably just vote on it tonight then, I guess.
and then you can make your case to zoning.
That's it.
Whatever zoning,
Yep.
you know, and you might get yeses. I mean, but I just feel like our commitment is to the WCD. And that's where I'm at. But, all right, anybody have anything else to say? Do we want to vote on it then? Yeah,
I think Alex put a vote,
okay, yeah, Alex,
yeah,
you started
if
a
I-
motion
I was gonna
about,
ask, should I make a motion to approve or not approve this plan that?
You can do either one, you can make either motion.
You don't, approve, disapprove? What do you usually say,
Usually,
sorry?
if you're gonna vote against it, you would
Yeah.
usually say, I'll make a motion not to approve the plan.
Okay, all right.
Correct?
yeah, I think that
Thank you
sounds
for the
better.
clarification. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion not to approve this proposed addition on lot 8, well,
It's 1688.
16, sorry, I was reading the paper.
Nope, that's okay.
16A,
88.
88, 1688, got it.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Thanks.
All in favor of not approving the plan?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye.
no,
Any opposed?
opposed,
Aye.
aye.
Okay, so it's 5 opposed, 2 for. You guys understand what you're voting for?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, how many abstain? No one? Okay, so you got 2 yeses.
Okay, I appreciate your time. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you could, do you have a reason? Do you say yes because you feel like he should have the right to
I just
put
feel
an
like
addition?
he's trying to work with us.
Okay,
He has
My feeling
ZBA
too.
approval grandfathered in for the house.
okay.
It's a tough situation.
It is.
It's definitely a tough situation.
I don't know, I just feel like.
No,
he
no, no,
can
that's
work.
fine. I just usually, if someone is opposed to the motion, I try to say why the reason is. So it's just, you just feel like he's trying to work
He's
with
trying,
us and
yeah.
he's just needs a little more space in his house and stuff like that. That's fine. Okay, cool. All
Thank
right,
you, folks.
so I
Appreciate
will
it.
send a
Thank you.
letter, but you're not before them for another like 5 weeks, right?
Yeah, July.
Okay.
Meeting in July, I think.
All right, well, I'll send a letter and I will include their, reasoning why they voted their vote, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Are they coming
Thanks.
back
No,
to us? Oh.
In the letter, make note of the deck.
I'm gonna make note of everything we talked about. Okay, Ken, you're back? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, excellent discussion, folks.
I feel for the guy. I do.
It's excellent.
I just,
It's the old rock in
it's
the hard.
very difficult, and this is
Problem.
one of the reasons why we're having an issue with these type of lots that are very marginal. And we're trying to clean this up. Because-
ZBA keeps approving stuff.
Well, no, it's not even ZBA, it's the subdivision, when the subdivision happens, they cannot be approving lots that are not,
The only point
that are marginal.
The only point I didn't have here get considered is, he has kids now. Where are the kids playing now?
well, in the yard,
And where's the yard?
everywhere.
In the
Boy,
WCD.
that's what I
So he
was
can-
saying.
So they're still gonna be playing in the WCD
Okay.
as we go forward. Any event, thank you very much, guys. It was good to sit back and listen to what took place. Do we have anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Alex, did you wanna say about our meeting,
Oh, yes.
the subcommittee meeting? Did you wanna?
Let me think about that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can talk about it if you don't
like.
mind, just trying to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, so last week I think it was me, Karen, and Paul Dadak met at the library to talk about what we think should be on our project approval form. I think that's not the title, official title, but basically where we approve use of conservation funds for the approval of projects. Excuse me. Other than specifically land acquisition. We talked about, we want to make it kind of look like our open space acquisition form. We want to try to gear towards making it accessible like that with the little check boxes. And we just went through it and nitpicked a couple things that weren't relevant to the form that were on there. I might have added and then taken off. So.
They were the, in the RSA, it says, that we can spend money outside for land outside of Pelham. And we can spend money, we can give money to, or, I don't know if it's give money, we can spend money with other conservation entities or whatever. Those two things require a vote at town meeting. We have not done that. One of the things we were advised years ago, when that first became part of the law, because it didn't used to be part of the law, the selectmen were like, well, we're not spending Pelham town money for Pelham, it's not tax money, it's for the current use changeover tax, but we're not gonna spend that outside of Pelham. So we never bothered going to the voters about it because it doesn't make sense. And it didn't make sense to us either to spend money outside of the town. And then the other one is to basically giving money to other entities that are working on conservation, and that didn't make any sense either. So those have not been voted in, but they were on the form, so I was like, no, we gotta get rid of these. So we got rid of some stuff. And we kind of came to it has to be kind of a simple form. Can't be, what we had last time was 8 pages or something, and it's I think you passed it, did you pass it out this time, one of you guys? Yeah, it's it can't be 8 pages. The zoning board, when they're approving things, it's a couple of pages, it's 5 questions. We cannot have 15 questions when zoning board has 5. That's my opinion anyways. I feel like we kind of had consensus on it.
Can I just
the
add
group.
something to it?
Yeah.
Or is it too late? It's not too late,
No,
right?
add
Could we
something
do
to
a
what?
site walk For like a proposed thing, like we always have a site walk when we look at land, like we don't just give out money, like we actually walk what we're doing.
Oh, go see, that might be an interesting idea. What do
Instead
you-
of just,
We can discuss that at the next one, all right. What was that?
We're gonna have a discussion, we put this on the agenda and discuss it.
It will before,
I just-
but
because I read
she's
it.
thinking in the form. In the form, we'd say sidewalk
like,
order.
we don't buy land without looking at it, so
Right.
we
can edit
shouldn't
the
give out
form,
money
we
without
can-
looking
I just
where
think
it's
it ought to
going.
be on the
Right.
agenda,
Yeah.
and we ought to go through it as a
Agreed.
group.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen until probably like September. We're trying to get it to be the best it can be
Fine.
before we bring it to you guys. We
Fine.
don't
No
wanna
problem.
bring it to you and we're
That's okay.
going
No.
through, sifting through everything. We're trying to
As long
like.
as you say you're gonna bring it at some point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm
I was
thinking
just thinking-
September-ish,
Yeah. Sure,
and
that's a
you
good
guys
idea.
seem to agree that we could probably get it done by then. We've got a meeting, Jesse, we have a meeting, I think the 24th. I think, is that what I said, Alex? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Of course, of course, I wrote it down. I'm sure I wrote it down.
Free the 24th.
It was the
It's
end
a
of the month.
Wednesday, it would, because we didn't wanna meet the next one, because that's all July 4th and all that kinda stuff. So we said, let's meet the last Wednesday of June. Okay, and then I forgot to let you know about that.
Calendar now.
Yeah, okay, so we'll meet then and we'll talk about like what we've talked about, and did you have a chance to like
Not yet.
take a, okay, that's fine,
I
no
will.
rush, no rush. Okay,
I didn't even talk to Jesse about it yet. I didn't know if you sent an email.
I have not,
Cool.
I should have, but
None
I
of us
didn't.
Comment?
Yeah, okay,
I'm sorry we didn't fill you in, Jesse.
that's okay, we're good, what,
We can fill it in.
Comment if I may?
yep,
I thought for the time that you guys had this thing, you've done an outstanding job. I looked at it and I went, I'd rather start out with more and then scale it down as
Right.
needed than come back with, half a page and it's like, where's the rest of it?
yeah.
So I think you
No,
guys
no,
did
it's
a
good.
really good job from that perspective. My really only nit is to add page numbers.
Yeah,
Right,
Paul
you
mentioned
said
that
that.
last week.
Paul
actually.
did too, yeah, he
We
did,
got
he
that.
said it should
So-
be,
I took a note. That was the
what
one
it's
note I
saying,
took,
it
I think.
should be like 1 of 8, 2
Yeah.
of 8.
Whatever, so we when
And I'm
we ref-
thinking 8's too many pages.
So we can reference that. And there is some repeats in here, and I appreciate the work that went in, and it's easier to take things out than it is to add them in. I think Michelle just had a great idea in
I
terms
did,
of
I love that
and
idea.
having that done.
I'm writing
I-
little
I
stars
don't know
around
if I want to, as being on the ZBA, I don't know that the simple 5 questions that they have, there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of words that go behind those 5 questions. Okay, so it's a good idea. I don't know how practical it is. We do have our check-off list when we saw it
Right.
tonight. That's a fairly straightforward. There's a lot of dialogue and work that goes behind that. Now, understanding when we start to talk about money and spending money, there's going to be people that are going to be requiring because they don't happen to like the idea, they're going to ask for a lot of detail. So again, having to be able to anticipate some of those questions or some of those concerns may make this a little bit bigger than a couple of pages. But I think you guys have done a lot of great work.
There are organizations out there that have broken all this ground. I mean, this is like a grant. So if you were to go to, let's say, the Land Water Conservation Fund and look at what is their grant application,
Yeah,
what
like
does
a
it look
template.
like?
Yeah, it's pretty,
Use it as a
and
template.
That's the kind of
that's
thing I
what,
think
I
we
think
should
Jesse
have.
did that.
Did you? Okay.
He looked at
I
some,
looked at other towns.
at different,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and that's what's in
I don't know how
there.
many towns have grant applications.
Well, yeah, but this
Well-
isn't, to me, this isn't a grant.
To me, it's exactly a grant.
I don't look at it
We're
that
giving
way.
somebody money. That, to me, is a grant. We're an organization with money who is considering giving money to someone else for some other purpose.
But it's only on town land.
Yeah, sure, there's
Every
restrictions, but
grant
still,
You know what
has,
I mean?
has limitations.
Right.
Land Water
Yeah, yeah.
Conservation Fund has limitations.
Yeah.
The New Hampshire Charitable Fund has limitations. Every grant application starts off,
Yeah.
some of them start off and say, we'll only give to municipalities. Some of them start off and say, we'll only give to nonprofits and won't
Yeah.
give to municipalities. All the grant organizations that I'm familiar with have limits on what they will give money for.
and what the deliverables are.
I
and what
feel
the
like
deliverables
we are
are.
gonna be way more involved than a grant from Land Water Conservation. Land Water Conservation, you present your paperwork and they give you the money. Like when
Well, in fact, you have
we're
to-
gonna be
you-
submerged
Land
into
Water
this.
Conservation Fund, you have to match, and they don't give you the money till the project's done and you've paid for it, and they reimburse you.
Yeah,
So we got to think about those kind of things. Are we just handing somebody a blank check because they said they're going to do X, Y, and Z? Or are we going to wait till they finish X, Y, and Z and they show us that it's done and it's paid for, and then we're going to give them the money?
So
Those are
that's a
some
good
of the
concept.
big
yeah, but
questions.
nobody is gonna do a project, pay for it up front,
That's what you do for a lot of grants.
on town land for the benefit of the townspeople. Nobody is gonna do that, Paul. People are not gonna do that.
Well, then maybe
This
that's
is-
not
this is-
reasonable. Maybe you're right. I'm just saying that's what some grant organizations do.
Right, but I don't look at it that way, because this is gonna be on public land.
Sure.
That the town already owns, and it's gonna be projects
Who
that
said
have
that?
to come here and we have to
so we're
approve
gonna-
them.
we're gonna
We have
restrict
to
it.
approve every
No, so
project.
that's one of the decisions you've made or you're proposing is that it has to be on town-owned land? We're not willing to give money on any other project that's not on town-owned land?
I'm not sure, I'm thinking more that it has to be on town.
Well, I think this just shows the kind of discussion we need. This
Yeah.
is not an easy thing. You guys took on a tough job, and I agree with Ken. It's a nice start that you've done. I'm not trying to be hard. I'm trying to help you by saying, go look at what others have done. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
There
what
are
they've been
company-
doing.
I
Organizations
just
like,
typed it in to search it, I'll read it later.
yeah, and New
Yeah.
Hampshire Charitable Trust, I think, is another one.
Which one?
I think it's New Hampshire Charitable Trust.
Okay.
And then the Land Water Conservation
I got
Fund. Those
that
are
one, yeah.
reputable. In fact, at the last NRPC annual meeting, which I went to, they had 3 speakers. One of the 3 was the Land Water Conservation Fund. And they were advertising their fund, and they wanted people to put in applications to get money from them to do things that are good to protect land and water conservation. I mean, if we didn't have our bond money and our current use money, we could go to them to help buy land. But they have a
Right.
lot of requirements.
Oh, yeah, okay, no, your input's welcome. I'm in a different mental space than, like, this has to be for the benefit of the people of Pelham. Because that's what the money is for, and we can't use the
Yeah.
bond, it's only for current use
I
fund.
agree.
There's no bond money involved.
correct.
And now our balance is like 200,000.
And I agree, it ought to be for the benefit of the people of Pelham.
And whatever it is, that it has to match our other conservation lands, like our conservation lands are open, dawn to dusk or whatever, like, it's gotta have the same, whatever we give to it, it has to like line up completely with what we already have.
And there's a lot of
know?
responsibility that goes along with this, so I think that the due diligence that we have to do before we spend that money can be significant.
You bet.
I don't want to pencil whip it. Somebody comes in and says, yeah, can I have $500 to go do this? And, oh, yeah, sure. No,
Yeah,
it's a big responsibility.
They'll
So-
have to fill out the form, and we made sure that we wanna keep the area of the form that says describe your project.
Sure.
I just thought, like, part of the form said, oh, let the applicant grade themselves on this criteria and that criteria, and I'm like, why?
Well, I
They're
think
gonna
there needs to
just
be
say
an internal,
yes,
you guys
yes,
aren't done
yes.
with the form yet, so I think it's an internal discussion as to this
Yeah,
is what
that's
you
what I'm
think, this is
saying.
what Jesse thinks, this is what Alex thinks, and you
Yeah.
guys can need to come together. We're
Yes,
only
we
here,
did.
when you brought it to us to look at it and say, "Hey, what's your thoughts on this? We're just sharing, this is our
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like
Of
it's
course.
cast in concrete, our thoughts either.
Good thoughts.
So
Right.
it's just kicking the ideas around. So again, I think you guys have done a great job for the time that you had to work on it. There's other things going on in everybody's lives, so this is one of many things. But you've done a lot, and like I say, I'm more in favor of taking a look at it, having you guys beat it back and forth with yourselves, bring it to us occasionally for some inputs. Okay, I think Paul's got some great ideas as to go see what somebody else did. No point in reinventing the wheel. If you can copy, you can copy. Might even have the opportunity to deal with somebody who is familiar with writing grants and say, hey, can you kind of take a look at this? Now, I might have somebody in mind to do that.
Yeah,
You know, it may be very helpful to be able to have some of that take place. It's totally up to how creative you guys want to get, and just thanks. I mean, I can't say thank you enough for what you've done so far. So please, keep it up. Because this is very important to us. We worked long and hard to be able to open up this opportunity for the town, the Conservation Commission, okay, and the benefactors of when we finally do spend some of this money or use some of this money for the benefit. So it's real important to get it right. And when we tweak it, it ought to be a rev, the other thing, maybe a rev on this thing, so we can rev the document. So we know that this is what it was, we want to change this, we can rev it, we want to keep track of the changes, why did we make the changes, whatever. Because, you know, you're going to have it, we're going to run it through a first pass real application and find out, geez, didn't think of that one. You know, so you're going to have to rev it. It's not meant to be the gold star right off the bat. It's as good as we can get it, and we fly it and do a test case and see if we can break it.
well, that's what we figured.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
get it so that we feel like it's pretty good, and then get everybody to.
Exactly, but
But we also agreed when we first said we'd do this committee that we'd bring it every month and say
Yeah,
what we talked
the
about.
update is
So
fine.
that's what we talked about this past.
and hopefully people have taken the time to go through this thing, look at it and say, yeah, there's a few repeats in here where things get stated.
we gotta
more than
get it
once.
out.
So there's a few of those going on, but the general structure, I mean, this is how I feel. I mean, how does everybody else feel about where this is today? You guys read it?
We did crossouts and all that, but we
Yeah,
haven't
yeah, but
like
just
retyped
generally.
it up, or anything like that.
So Dawn, you have any comments on, did you read it, and what do you think?
I just brushed over it. I haven't really looked at it fully because I thought they were still working on it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are.
they are, but
Yeah,
this is,
don't worry.
But if you have comments like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't think this should be in there, or
Yeah.
maybe you add this other thing, that's fine too. Like
I'd
where
like a different font. We're just kidding.
I was gonna
Hey,
say,
that's right,
okay,
that fits up to what page numbers.
okay,
No, that's,
Virus.
okay.
and any other comments? Because this is, like I say, this is very important. We're taking on a responsibility. The voters in town gave us this responsibility. Now we've got to do the best we can with it.
Okay.
Okay,
So was
anything
there
else?
another? Did we have 2 walk-in items?
I had you had that one. I had the invoice that I
Oh,
wanted to
the
get
invoice
paid.
we already did.
We
Okay.
already did that. I had
Alright,
the car
so-
for Jay, so we already did that.
All right, we're good.
Does anybody have anything else going once, going twice? Does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, we don't need non-public or anything, right?
Not-
Oh, nice.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Not tonight.